today.
Today's guest coming in today is the host of Music Matters podcast, which I think that it sounds really freaking badass because y'all know music absolutely matters, and I'm all about it. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm Morning Brew welcome to Darrell Craig.
All right, so you can hear us now.
You can hear us.
Yeah, I can. Let me actually pull my ear. How you doing?
Doing good. When I first saw you, I thought to myself, oh my God, it's the Pokemon evolution of Alan. The beard is a little bigger. The glasses are a little...
Nice.
Yeah, I got my especially dark, freshly
Hold on one
beard.
second, because Gavin just made a phenomenal point.
Look at that!
It's my twin.
I love it. That's so wonderful. Oh.
What is happening? It's your doppelganger, bro.
It's two handsome bald guys. What are you gonna
Absolutely.
Tell us about your podcast, man. You have a podcast called Music Matters, right?
Yeah, it's Music Matters with Darrell Craig Harris. It's on all of the usual outlets. Yeah, it's been rocking. I mean, we've been up for about 3 months. I'm a pro musician and based in Vegas, and obviously with COVID, that left me with a lot of time on my hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just kind of reinvented myself and started the podcast, and it's been going good. Yeah, just having interesting guests, and as you know, that's always the fun part of the podcasting is finding guests and doing that. So that's been going good. So
guests are always fun. I see you have quite a list of achievements here. You're a globally known musician. You're a senior writer for Jazz in Europe magazine. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's actually I was in London 2 years ago, I think, and I did an interview with a friend of mine, Fiona Ross, who's a well-known jazz singer, and she's also a writer for Jazz in Europe. And her editor actually watched the Facebook Live that we did from her recording studio and contacted me. And he's the editor for Jazz in Europe, Nigel J, and asked me if I wanted to write for them. And I was like, well, I'm not really a writer, but I like doing interviews, which is, I guess the video thing is a little bit more easy for me. But I said I would need a really good editor. And so he's like, I'm a good editor. I don't mind doing it. So I kind of kicked that off. And they kind of gave me a 10-time Grammy nominated guy right out of the gate. And they gave me a whole bunch of really good guys to interview. So it was a lot of fun. I had a good time. So
how intimidating was it to prepare to interview a 10-time Grammy winner?
Yeah, it was, Bobby Santabria. He's like a Latin jazz historian, actually out of New York. And yeah, it's intimidating. Those guys are no joke. They know their deal. And I've always liked jazz, but I was never like a jazz historian. But I'm a musician, and I know what other musicians like and what their interests are, and that kind of carries over. It doesn't really matter to the genre so much. So yeah, so it was fun. I interviewed Kenny Garrett, who is a really famous sax player, Charlie Hayden, bass player, Christian McBride, who's a really well-known jazz bass player, also artistic director. So yeah, it's been fun. It just you figure it out and you get better as you know doing the podcasting thing.
Well, we're in those phases ourselves.
Yeah, you just kind of have to do it and figure it out. So
right.
Yeah, and I've always loved listening to jazz. My drummer for my band listens and plays a lot of jazz. It's always I've never gotten too much into it as far as playing bass or guitar though on my own time, just because the rhythms always really screw me up, but more so the scales. The jazz scales always kind of mess with my ear a lot because they do go into those they jump in and out of key all the time, and that just always kind of screwed me up. I felt like I was doing something wrong, but they're like, "Oh no, that's correct." There's actually a video on YouTube.
That's a Spinal Tap thing, right? It's just a bunch of rock dudes.
Yeah, there's a video on YouTube of this guy playing classical guitar, and he actually hits a couple wrong notes, and the people watching are like, "Oh, that's terrible." You know what? Try jazz. They're going to love you. And then he goes over and he's playing the same classical piece, and he starts playing the wrong notes, and like everyone's so bored at first, and he plays the wrong notes. They're like, "Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. They all act like they're getting it, and they're kind of going, I don't know. But a lot of the crowd. But yeah, it's fine. To me, like music is music. I don't really care about genres. I listen to everything. I'll listen to Metallica. I'll listen to jazz. I'll listen to funk.
Absolutely.
I just like music. So I mean, I don't like everything necessarily, but I'm willing to listen to their stuff and see what I dig and what I don't dig. And way back when Run DMC came out, and they were doing that with the Aerosmith stuff. I'm like, that's cool. Like they're just reinventing. It's fresh. It's something different. So
that was many moons before Gavin existed. I don't know if Gavin ever seen that. Gavin, did you see the Aerosmith and Run DMC collaboration?
No.
No, he still
I listened to it, but I did not get away
for its time. It was just amazing. When for something like that to come out, it was very ingenuic.
Yeah,
I don't even know if it is a word, but
that was the beginning of the whole sampling thing. And I mean,
right.
look where it's got to now. I mean, like, it's crazy. They had to figure out the legalities of that.
Right, because they did Walk This Way. and Walk This Way was a classic Aerosmith tune from the late 70s.
Yeah.
And then they brought in Run DMC, who was this new hip hop group that came out, and it was just such an amazing collaboration. The video was dope because they had a wall, and I think the symbology of that video was important because what they were showing is you have a brick wall on one side, you have Aerosmith, the rock band, on the other side you have Run DMC putting on a rap show. Yeah. And then the walls got broke. They broke through the walls, and I think in the time it was bringing the cultures together and showing people that we can do this. And in fact, there's several of Anthrax did one with who was it? Who was it? Flavor Flav. And then did you remember that? Was it Fight the Power? I think.
Yeah, I just actually just interviewed Ralphie Rosario. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's one of the founders of house music out of Chicago. He's with I think it's Hit Mix 5 or Hot Mix 5 crew out of Chicago, and like he was at the beginnings of that too with those guys. Like that was happening in Chicago, Run DMC, and those guys were happening in New York. And Ralphie, I mean, like if you look at the list of credits, it's crazy, and it's not just like pop stuff. It's rock. It's everything. It's Celine. It's Beyonce. Yeah. So like that stuff is really, I mean, it's just completely morphed into a whole nother thing. It's pretty cool.
The culture of music now is incredible where things are. Like I'm now since starting this journey, and Gavin, I'll get to you in a second. Since starting this journey, I've discovered like what's coming out of Japan, the J-rock scene, the K-rock scene, the K-pop scene. Like there are just amazing musicians that we don't really get to see because of their cultural distribution. You have like Korea and Japan, they're so strict on the distribution of their artists that it's really hard for the world to get to know them. And it's a shame because it's such beautiful music.
Yeah, and it's some of the best songwriters, best musicians. I mean, I lived in Tokyo for 4 years with Cirque du Soleil, and a friend of mine that I met there, Mayu Wakisaka, is actually one of the top J-pop, K-pop rock songwriters. Her songs on YouTube, the bands that she's written for, have almost 1 billion views, literally 1 billion.
Right. Our very own Tokyo Bento right here lives in Tokyo.
Awesome.
Kevin, what do you got?
Yeah, no, definitely. How we were saying earlier, with like the mashups and whatnot and bringing different genres together. I was watching a video with Tech9 the other day, and he was saying, because it was something about he was pissed off about people saying that Eminem is a culture vulture, and he was pissed about that. He's saying, dude, I've had times where I'll go do a show with Lil Wayne, and then the next day Anthrax, or Knotfest, I think it was Knotfest. He's like, I do the exact same thing. And that's kind of what it's become. We've had a lot of rappers specifically come into the rock scene or different subgenres of it. MGK just went from hardcore rapping to now doing this really, honestly, I thought it was pretty great, this punk album that he put out and brought a lot of people back into the punk rock genre and brought that back. And
that's what happens when you try to battle Eminem, bro. He just kind of he beats you out of the genre. Like,
you know what though, David and Goliath, you can't come on. Like, you got to get props.
But in this instance,
he went after him and he got a response.
David picked the fight, but I'm going to tell you, I liked MGK's diss track that he came out with. I thought it was ingenuous.
I thought it was hot.
I thought it was great. The beats, everything about that comeback was great. But you can't go up against the GOAT, bro, because then he's going to come out with something like Kill Shot. And what else? What are you going to do at that point? You're like, you know what? I'm gonna go join a metal band.
Yeah, but you know what? If you looked at his numbers and everything, if you looked at how his sales were doing, he was still at the top even after Killshot came out. I think what really screwed him up and what really ended up causing him to tank was he did it. I can't remember who it was with. He did an interview with a big name rapper R&B podcast show, and he said some stupid stuff on there that people crucified him for. And then also the rest of his album did very poorly. Rap Devil seemed to be the only good song on it. There might have been like one or two other ones, but the rest of it seemed very rushed, and that's what really tanked his rap career.
Yeah, well,
in my opinion,
he's back. Eminem is firmly sitting in the throne right now once again and showing people why he's the best to ever do it, because it's just what he does.
That last Tom McDonald came out with was ridiculous. It was so good.
Tom McDonald has come out as one of the most amazing artists, period, that I've seen in my lifetime. Like, this dude is incredible, man. If you haven't seen him, and then what are your thoughts on like baby metal? Have you ever seen baby metal, Darrell?
I guess I have. I've seen. I know. I used to play in a lot of the clubs in Japan, and there was a lot of those groups over there, like kind of doing different things that we haven't seen here so much.
Yeah.
Baby metal. I guess I've seen that. I don't know. I guess I kind of listen to everything. And in Japan, there's like a lot of really interesting stuff. Like, yeah, it's like you go to these clubs and you'll see these little Japanese girls walk in and like, oh, they're really cute. Then they get behind the drum kit and it's like,
yeah,
like, you see that a lot. Like, there's killer, like people, like, it's just amazing. And like, you're seeing more of that on YouTube now. Like, they're coming out doing their videos, which I think is great. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Have you ever heard of or seen Nightwish?
Oh yeah. Well, I go to Finland a lot.
Bro, you are in the right place, Darrell. We have a ton of Finns in the crowd, man. We have such a beautiful Finnish fan base here.
I have actually have a good friend that plays with the 69 Eyes. The bass player is a friend of mine, Arch Z. And a lot of the Finn pop and rock guys. I was actually just talking to my friend, his wife, and Gas was the drummer for him for 14 years. And the Finnish band, kind of like a romantic metal. I don't know, Ville Valo, all those guys. But I love Finland. Finland's got a great scene. There's like
here come the Finns. As soon as you say something, they're coming. There's Shamani. Pamela Kilpinen is here. We got Finns in here.
I should use my dirty Finnish words, but I won't.
Yeah, do it. We haven't cussed at all yet, I don't think, during this episode. What was your thoughts on Marco departing from Nightwish?
I don't know the Nightwish guys that well. I know that a lot of the stuff with those guys has been around the singers, because I know that people love the original singer, and that's changed, I guess once or twice. And I think as far as the band goes, the music I think is the most important thing. I think the members, obviously it's important, but what they do is really interesting. I like the theatrical rock aspect of what they do. To me, it's like same with like Apocalyptica. I like what those guys do. Yeah, all those bands, man, and like they're killer players. That's the thing.
Well, we want to shoot a happy birthday out to Marco. It is his birthday today, and we want to shoot that out to him as well. I'm personally just right. See, now we got people that are going to cry because Marco is he's such an amazing musician. Bass player, singer, and he's just
it's it's tough when a member leaves a band and people a big part of their fan base loves those guys. It's like the Metallica story, right? When Jason not really left, but kind of
we're not even going to go there.
I know.
We're not going to go there, Darrell. We're not going to go there at all, Darrell. Nope, negative. Listen, Metallica's my favorite band of all time, and
and I love. I mean, Robert. I don't know if you saw the documentary with those guys when they hired Robert. I mean, the thing is, like, Robert's been a hardworking guy for many years.
He's amazing, bro. I love Robert Trujillo. He's amazing.
Yeah, great player and a sweet guy. And like when they sit around the table and say, we're going to give you $1 million.
Right.
And he was playing with Ozzy. He was doing fine. He wasn't hurting for money, but still, like, that was a life-changing thing.
I think Metallica learned a valuable lesson with the departure of Newsted. Yeah. Newsted was a solid point. Yeah. In the transition and the evolution of Metallica, because they abused that kid. all the way up through the Black Album. And then in the Black Album, when you look at this, I could go on forever about Metallica. This ain't even fair. When you get into the Injustice for All album, they buried the bass in the mix. It's just completely gone. And when the Black Album comes out, now you start to see that Lars Ulrich started to learn lessons about the way to treat a fellow band player, a fellow bandmate. And then in the mix of the Black Album, you hear a more prominent bass. And all right, I'm done.
Well, you know what? I mean, they to get where they've gotten to, they had to have that step, right? And that's just part of your evolution. It's part of your story. And Jason, he has a passion for what he does, and it's just that stuff happens. I mean, as we know, band members come and go, and sometimes it's mutual, sometimes it's not mutual. So
I want to switch over to this part of your life. You are a ghost hunter.
Yes. That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Gavin, take the lead on this one.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is we can sit here and talk about music all day. We bring a lot of musical guests in, so I want to drift away from that a little bit. I gotta know, what is up with this ghost hunting thing? How'd you get into it? And are you one of those people who you do the shows for, like you post on YouTube and things about that, or you just go on your own and then tell your friends stories? What is this ghost? You got like a vacuum cleaner that you carry with you, or
it's a little bit of salts and it's a little bit of all that. So I work with there's a place here in Las Vegas, or actually outside Las Vegas, called the Pioneer Saloon. Yeah. And a lot of people would know that from Fallout New Vegas, because it's actually the saloon featured in the Xbox game. So I do their social media, and part of that is that place is notoriously haunted. It's actually one of the most popular Ghost Adventures TV shows. That's one of their most popular episodes. Yeah. So I've been working with them for like 4 or 5 years, and I do the haunted lockdowns there, and I've gotten a lot of crazy stuff. But then once I started doing that, I travel a lot. So I would go to France, or I'd go to Finland, and we pick just different locations. People would tell us, like local people would say, "Hey, you should check this out," and then we go there and like get crazy stuff, like lots of videos and recordings, and some of that stuff's on my YouTube page. But it's just, that's kind of crazy. It's fun. It's interesting. It's crazy. But
I got to know, what are some of your experiences? Because Sonny is convinced still that like ghosts and whatnot are bullshit for the most part. Like, cause he's never had an experience. So he's just kind of taking word of mouth from people. So I got to know, what are some of your experiences that you have had?
I've been touched. There's somebody at the Pioneer. Hopefully, it's a woman that likes the back of my head. So they've run their finger like this down my head. And the first time it happened to me, I thought it was a bug. And then when it happened again, I was like, okay. And I've gotten tons of recordings with voices there. And not only there, but like I've been in France. I was in a 1,000-year-old church, and I just started filming. I was by myself. As soon as I started asking questions, I started getting a tingling sensation on my right arm. And I didn't, when you're filming, of course, you're not hearing what's on the video until later. So later on, I get back to the place where we're staying, and I'll listen to the video, and there's a guy saying, "Help me," through the whole video. And that's actually on my YouTube page, and you can hear him clear as day. So I have a friend here in Vegas, Tom Rojas, who's a very serious guy, and he's a very smart guy. And he goes, "I don't believe in ghosts." I'm like, "Okay, that's cool. Here, check this out." And I played it on my laptop. I said, "Listen to this." And he hears the whole thing, and he goes, "Shit."
Little did you know, there's some dude stuck in the basement just calling out for you.
Yeah, the thing is, like, when you hear that stuff, like, you feel bad, right? What if one of us got stuck after we passed away, and it's scary.
Well, I know if I'm ever like trapped in the basement of a 1,000-year-old church and like physically still alive, I gotta scream out, "Help me! I'm not a ghost, goddammit, help me!"
Exactly. Yeah. The thing is, just from my experience, like, they're everywhere. They're all around us. Some people notice them. Some people don't notice them.
Absolutely. I saw a video of one of the new modern cars where they, now they're getting more tech savvy, where they got the cameras in the front and the back, checking everything out. Well, I guess now they have some of the new ones have like an infrared on them, right? If there's people. And I saw a video where this guy, he was parked at a cemetery, and it showed an infrared thing walking in front of him, like a person. And he's pulling the camera, but there's nobody there. And the car's beeping. It's like, "Hey, don't hit this person." It's like, there's nobody there.
Yeah, they actually, like the Ghost Venture guys, they use the I think I can't remember the name of it, the Xbox where it tracks you, you can dance and do all the moves.
Oh, the Connect.
Yeah, they use that device to
Is that the thing that gets out the little green stick figure?
Yeah.
See, for me, listen, that seems so fake to me, bro. That just seems super fake to me. Like you're just trying to find particles in the air and then just putting little. But again, I don't know it.
Well,
so
I'll tell you.
Explain to me what that is.
Yeah. So basically, what that does, obviously, the Connect, it shoots out a bunch of lights, and then it can read movement. So when you're doing that, and you see a stick figure show up, and then you say raise your left hand, and the stick figure goes. It's like, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, and I think a lot of it, the Ghost Adventures guys, like I like the show. Zach's kind of like, he's a little over dramatic, I guess.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to be there and see it for myself because on TV, it looks to me, and I can't shake it out of my head that it's a TV show. Like you can't have a TV show if something doesn't happen. So clearly, in my mind, they're making that happen up for the TV show. So I would have to be there to see the stick figure doing it where there's nobody there, and we say, all right. Stand on one toe and bark like a dog, and and you see that happening. Then I might buy into it. But I mean, it's just I've been here almost 40 years, and I've never once had a ghost experience or a spirit experience or an extraterrestrial experience. So in my mind, it's just like.
No, I get that. That's one thing that kind of kills it for me too. Is on like YouTube and on television specifically, or like established YouTube channels, is seeing people overreact to it, and then it's campy, and then you're like, all right, this is kind of bullshit.
Well, when I originally did that, like they invited me to come to the lockdown and check it out, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I don't care, it's whatever. And then
I ain't afraid no ghosts.
Right. And then when I'm actually filming with my own gear and I could take it home and I hear the voice on the recording, I know I didn't fake it and I know it's my camera. So it's like, but I could tell you that all day long, but whether or not you're going to actually believe it, you're going to have to experience for yourself, which I totally get. So when I tell people about that, I'm like, this is what I experienced. This is what I feel, but I'm not telling you what to feel. Like, it's everybody has to decide that on their own. But the good news in my mind is that we don't ever really die. We just kind of transition, as they say. So that's the way I believe it. And, we're all going to find out.
I mean, I have a good friend, Lisa Tillman, who was, she's going to take me on one of these little ghost hunts that she does, because she does them too, because I just have to see it, man. I have to know. And
you know what?
And
that's it. Yeah, and, I get that.
And how often do you do ghost hunts?
Well, obviously right now, not so often, but typically at the Pioneer, we'll do them every couple of weeks. And sometimes, normally I'm not in town as much as I am. Usually I'm on the road. But if I was back east in Ohio, we played, and I guess it was Toledo downtown, and there was an old theater that was our dressing rooms for the gig. And I walked out on stage and just started filming, and I got a guy, somebody said, "Get out," really loud on the video.
So then I'm going to propose a challenge that Gavin and we're going to get together and take a trip somewhere scary on a video. And
Yes.
Goes, are you in?
Yes, absolutely. Dude, I love cemeteries, man. Like, I used to go hang out there all the time. I've had sex in cemeteries. Like, I don't care, man. I will go hang. I've stayed overnight sleeping in them before. Like, I'm all about that. Let's do spooky stuff.
You know what? I was a Highgate Cemetery in London, which is like a really, like, if you were going to set up a cemetery for a film, that would be that place. It's all the old tombstones sideways and falling over. And I spent the afternoon there walking around. I felt completely peaceful. Like I was the only one there basically. And I didn't feel any, being afraid. I don't get afraid too often. I don't want somebody popping up in my face. I don't want some spirit going, hey.
Yeah, it's just I'm excited for it. I want it to happen in my life.
Yeah.
And I think that if this does exist, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate here on my own self. If it does exist, I think that the spirits are only going to reveal themselves, or ghosts are only going to reveal themselves to somebody that's receptive to it. Because I've challenged it. I've gone into some scary places. I was down in New Orleans and hit some of their scary spots. And I'm like, come on, Come on, where y'all at? I'm right here. Come out here and scare the shit out of me. I'm begging you to come scare the shit out of me. And nothing. So if they do exist, I think they're just because I'll slap a ghost, man. That's my thing. I want to slap a ghost. Pat, let's do it. And before anybody else can
what you wish for.
Slap a Ghost is the name of my new band. Before anybody else can say it.
Yeah, there you go.
Gordy's already got the best one.
The Paranormals.
Cemetery Sex is the name of Gavin's new band. I like it.
Yeah.
Nice.
We name everything has a new band name around here. There are 110,000 songs uploaded a day in this day and age. So it's
that's true.
It's oversaturated to say the least. It's pretty difficult. As a musician, do you find it difficult to get your music out there?
Actually, you know what? I mean, there's different challenges. Like one thing is a lot of people talk about is that people aren't used to paying for music anymore. So that's created a lot of challenges. And also having those outlets, like Spotify, the obvious ones that we all know. The cool thing about that is it's democratized getting your music out there. So you can, and not everything's good. But people like now, a lot of people have been doing live streams, and some are good, some are bad, but you put your stuff out there, then people, hopefully they find you, and the cream rises to the top. So they've been signing kids off of Facebook Lives. They've been signing, record labels have been signing kids off of YouTube. So it's good. It's good and bad. Just like
you ever get the chance, you should check out Gavin's band called Dying Desolation. They are an incredible band. That this young man had. Listen, it's incredible, bro.
Hey man, you know what? I check out everything, and because we have our music pages on Facebook. It's Music Crowns and Bass and Guitar Love, and between the two pages, we have about 7 million followers, all music related, right? So I search for people. that are good, and I'll put their videos up. So
we got some videos up right now. Yeah, we got 3 music videos for our latest EP. That we put out there. The last one we shot entirely by ourselves, and then the other 2 we paid to get shot. But they're all been doing really well. So
like I said, you know what? If it's good, people and it resonates, people will find you.
Where can people find your stuff, Darrell?
So basically, like for the podcast stuff, it's musicmatterspodcast.com. The podcast name on all the sites is Music Matters with Darrell Craig Harris. So what we do is I'm doing the podcasts. Most of the interviews are using Zoom. So the audio we release on the podcast sites, and the video from the Zoom interviews we release on our music pages, which again is Music Crowns, which is out of London, and at Bass and Guitar Love. Those are both on Facebook, and those pages are great. I have a bass group called Bass Players Around the World. That's got about 14,000 people that are on that page. And I'm pretty easy to find. If you search Darrell Craig Harris, I'm going to pop up in a bunch of different places.
Well, I will
for better or worse.
I will make these connections with you, and then we'll post all your links up, and we'll get some traffic over your way, so you guys can go check out Music Matters Podcast and all things Darrell Craig Harris. Did I just say your name right? Darrell Craig Harris, right? Yeah,
that's it.
And you guys can go check out all the stuff, show them support. Darrell, it was such a pleasure talking to you and having you on the show, man. You're an incredible dude. And we appreciate your time, my friend. We'll stay in touch, and we'll check back up with you soon, man, and have you come back and do a recap at some point.
Yeah, I'm happy to. And if people want to send me stuff, send me the links to their bands or videos, feel free to do that, either on the podcast side or on the pages. And I'm happy to check everything out. And if I can help people out, I always will. So
sounds good. You're an amazing dude.
Getting hold of you.
Definitely will. You're an amazing dude, and we'll definitely stay in touch and catch up with you soon. I got your number. Feel free to text out anytime, man.
Okay, awesome, guys.
All right, buddy. It was good to see you. We'll see you again soon.
Peace out, brother.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it is